my friend Roger Stevens, if you will just stand up so they know who you are. Roger is a new transferring minister. We were ordained together almost 23 years ago.
Oh, Roger!
You're young.
Yes,
Keep that.
you're
Still young? You're on it. As young as you think.
That's right. So I hope you'll have a chance to talk with him after service. He's going to be doing the talk next week and also a class
Thank you,
afterwards. So,
Thank you.
so welcome, Roger.
Yes.
Well, 'tis the season, as we've already started. We've got lots of things covered, and everybody brought up all kinds of wonderful events here, which we do. Because here at CCL we do honor and celebrate the holy days of world religions and beliefs. We celebrate our diversity as a group. Some of the things will resonate for you, and some won't, and that's okay. That's what we're all about. Yet with our diversity, we always have a great respect, no matter what the topic is, no matter what the holiday is. So I always say, there's always an honoring that we have here, even if it's not your cup of tea. We always honor lots of things.
We are home, we are one.
That's right. And I loved what Gloria said, thank you. And so I think today it's important to have an open heart for us to embrace our source, our great spirit, and allow for the miracles of the season. In our prayers, we had lots of people facing lots of diversity in their lives and challenges. And so I hope that this fills your soul in a special way to go out and go to December. A couple of celebrations on December 8th. It's called the Festival of Lights, and that started in Lyons, France, and is one of the biggest gatherings in the world for attendance purposes. The festival begins on the 4th and completes on the 8th, and every house places a candle in the windowsill. The festival began when the townspeople prayed to Mother Mary to be spared from the plague of 1643. And so after their prayers to Mother Mary, the plague did indeed skip their town.
Yay!
And so the festival became hugely popular. That's right, miracles, we like those. It became hugely popular in 1852 when the statue of Mary was placed in the town center. And today there are parades and lights and light shows, as well as the individual homes of everyone. They place a candle in the windowsill. And the pictures were spectacular, so if you want to Google it and see the picture of the whole town from an aerial view of everybody's lights at their homes lit up. So it's also no surprise that we celebrate our Light of Lights with the Center for Living with Dying, with our own Janet Childs. If you haven't been to this ceremony, I invite you to come and join it. For me, it used to be a time of year that I would miss my mom, and so it's just so great because you can go and honor your ancestors, your loved ones, and give them their entire whole day of honoring, and then go into the holidays and celebrate life. And so I hope that you'll join us this Wednesday. Also, the Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, and Jains also celebrate Diwali, which is also a festival of lights. And I might be mispronouncing that, so you'll forgive me. It extends over 5 days, and it's also a reaffirmation of hope, a renewed commitment to friendship and goodwill, and a religious sanctioned celebration of the simple things in life. They have fireworks and oil lamps and sweets. some common themes. And then they eat. And the lamps are lit to help the goddess Lakshmi, thank you, to find her way to people's homes. And then it's not a national holiday, but many people take off the day for work as well. And then, of course, we have Hanukkah, which we just started off with our great Hanukkah prayer and Hanukkah song. But it really is, too, a festival of lights for the Jewish faith. Of course, we know that families light candles, they celebrate, they exchange gifts, and they eat. So we have lots of sweets and lighting candles. And of course, each holiday brings with it its own special food and traditions for the people as well. We follow Hanukkah with Yule, winter solstice, Albanarthan, celebrations of the longest night of the year, the sun's rebirth, and the beginning of longer days to follow. Yule also celebrates the rebirth of a great god, who is viewed as the newborn solstice in the sun. And of course we have pagan, Wiccan, Druid, and all of us celebrating the holiday. We are honoring faith and renewal, being open to the light and the returning of warmth. And of course, following Christmas, we have our newest holiday that's predominantly a U.S. holiday, which is Kwanzaa, which we also celebrate here. I think it was so appropriate that we talked about the young woman who had a child, and a boy child today. Because chances are that historically, probably 13 or 14 was the time that young women would begin to have their children. And I'm sure that it's very close to a time that Mary was around that age or not much older when she gave birth to Jesus. Of course, Christmas time is a time that we take to honor the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah whose message of self-sacrifice began the Christian religion. It was no accident that Christmas is celebrated on December 25th. It's a time of holy days for many of the world religions. Easter is celebrated based on both astronomical and astrological events, and so it moves. But I thought it was pretty good marketing that they chose right in the midst of all of the pagan and world religion holidays, and that Christmas Day is that date. There are many theories on when Jesus was actually born. So we've heard some say he's a Gemini, some an Aquarius. So lots of debate. But we know that Jesus was not born a Christian. He did not follow himself. And I hope that when I'm done today that you'll be open to viewing Jesus in a different light. We honor the Dalai Lama, we honor Buddha, we honor so many masters and teachers and healers. And Christ, Jesus, whatever you would like to call. He's known by many names. Christ, the Christos, the mystical Christ, Jesus, Rabbi, Master, whatever you're comfortable. But he was a divine master, messenger, healer, and teacher. Many sects still carry on Christ's teaching in addition to traditional Christianity. the Rosicrucians, Martinism, the Gnostics, the Essenes. I had to see if Virginia's paying attention over there. Good morning, Virginia.
And Muhammad and the Muslims
Absolutely.
honor Jesus.
Absolutely. So lots of people recognize his great teachings. As Gloria was so apropos tuning in with me here, Christmas is a time to honor the teachings of Christ, and his messages were very simple. You'll recognize many of Jesus' teachings in other sources, all good reminders of the season and the whole year through. And all these things we do at CCL, as you'll see. Number 1 was love thy neighbor. And we take this time of year to do sock drives, to do toy drives for children that are less fortunate. A lot of times we do food drives. We have parties.
And we buy a cow.
Yes.
And we buy a cow.
Yes, our cow.
We buy a cow. And we have parties and we bake treats and we give gifts to show our love to one another and show our love to our neighbors. And I loved Annie's shared with us last week the gift that she has in neighbors. So if you don't know your neighbors, maybe it's a great time to just go over and introduce yourself and say hello, because in our area here we tend to open the garage door, drive in, close the garage door, never talk to your neighbors until there's a 6.8 earthquake or there's some great thing that happens. So maybe take the time to just knock on a neighbor's door and say hello. We also have a responsibility in our communities to care for one another and to show compassion for one another. And I think with everything that we've seen recently in the news and the unrest, that it's a great time for us to have the opportunity for compassion for one another. Whether you agree with someone or not, you can certainly be respectful about their views. And there have been some wonderful pictures of policemen hugging children of color and honoring the place where they are. Number 2 is become as a child. There are passages where Jesus welcomes the children and reminds us to be more like children. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Christmas for me reminds us to stop and sing the songs and see the lights and watch the children play. It's a time to share with others. It's a time to build a relationship with maybe someone you didn't know as well as you could. You don't have to have a lot to gift someone your time. Sometimes people say to me here, well, I really can't afford to participate in this or that. I said, well, you have time, don't you? There's always things that we can do here at CCL that don't require money, that you can give of your time and give of your services. File. And it's a great reminder that, like children, that we stay open to the myth and the mysticism and the joys and the secrets. Number 3, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Again, a very simple reminder of a simple childhood lesson that applies to all areas of our lives. The workplace, relationships, And include forgiveness in that to people who've wronged you. It's a great time to release those people. Not because it changes them, because it changes you. When you forgive someone else, it changes you. It doesn't really matter if the other person gets it or they don't, because that's not where the change lies. It changes you to offer forgiveness. This was a new word. I like this word. And these were taken from the Secret Doctrines of Christ, great book. Abandon the vainglorious things of the world. And vainglorious is, what they're saying is to keep your ego in check. Don't be overly boastful or greedy. That keep balance in yourself. Having self-realization. Number 5, seek the kingdom of heaven within. You cannot look outside yourself for happiness. Doesn't matter what your bank account says. Doesn't matter who you're married to or not married to. There's only one place that you can seek balance and happiness, and that's within yourself. You help bridge that place between heaven and earth by your own prayers, your own meditations, your own ceremonies, your inner wisdom. And number 6, lift up your consciousness to God, Goddess in prayer and communion. We also do that in ceremony. We have lots of ceremonies this month that we're going to honor and do that. Again, as we already talked about. When we bring in that ceremony and that meditation, and we bring in that quiet space, then that's where we are bringing to the earth peace. We don't have to go out or be boisterous or do big movement to create huge change on our planet. We have to have faith. We have to believe in magic and miracles and healing. Those are born here in each and every one of you, just by stating your intention, spoken or unspoken out loud. Just defining your intention for another. And we had people share here today miracles that have occurred for people in their health, in getting a new job, a new place to live. As Dr. Fitzgerald, our UCM forefather, states in our Minister Handbook on page 75, Christmas is a wonderful time for augmenting our own Christ consciousness. The essence of Jesus' teachings was love. And the hope of the world is love. Friendship between peoples founded upon loving good, that alone will prevent wars. That will create changes. Let your love shine. Let the mystical Christ be born today in our hearts, to reign forevermore. And then I'll conclude here so Dottie stays on time. But there's a wonderful meeting of science and religion and history right now. And it's so exciting. I hope that maybe that you come away with maybe a little different view. I know some of you don't don't come from a very Christian philosophy, but I hope that maybe you'll open your hearts and revisit that with what resonates. I'll just share with you real quickly. I was just watching the show on Friday, and scientists have recreated where Moses parted the seas, and they've taken, with the sciences that we have now, and they've scanned the floors of the sea there to see where that actually occurred. And how that phenomenon actually occurred was based on a huge windstorm. And that there's actually a place that was a huge raised section in the water. And so scientifically they've proven with replicating the circumstances that when the winds blew, where this channel came up and the wind blew, the water parted there.
Wow.
And so they've actually found the ridge where that occurred and crossed.
Well, what a coincidence that he do it right at that time.
Right at that time.
Right when there was a wind.
See, prayers.
Yeah, but
They needed it. That was their intent. That's right, they were being delivered. So I think it's just so fascinating. Sometimes they're finding that a few of these places are not where they thought, because where the land and the sea were 2,000 years ago was about a 5-mile difference. That the sea was 5 miles closer in, so they were able to replicate that. So I hope that you'll think about putting Christ back in your spiritual posse as a protector and a teacher, as I honor him as my friend and a teacher, as many of us have had so many lives in those different times. And I'm so glad that here at CCL we honor everyone in all of our holidays. So we are the answer, and world peace begins with us right here. And today is the day.
Yes. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
And the CCL choir would please sing another song, and we'd appreciate it.
Well, okay. You insist.